Tonight, we're not just counting names, we're decoding impact, aura, relevance, and that invisible spark that makes millions stop scrolling, replay clips, and whisper the same question. Why does this member hit differently right now? 2025 isn't just another year for BTS, it's a turning point, a post-military glow-up era where fame isn't evenly distributed and shine is earned in real time through presence, timing, and emotional connection. Some members dominate headlines without trying, others quietly pull gravity toward them, and a few shock the world by reinventing what popularity even means. But here's the twist nobody tells you up front. Being the most famous doesn't always mean being the most talked about, and being the most talented doesn't automatically make you the most influential. So, who really owned 2025? Who made the global public lean in closer, not just ARMY? Who turned casual listeners into obsessed watchers? And who, despite massive respect, felt slightly eclipsed by the chaos of this new era? This top list isn't about favoritism, nostalgia, or hype without proof. It's about real visibility, cultural resonance, digital dominance, emotional pull, and that unmeasurable but undeniable star power that defines a year. Some placements will feel obvious, others might make you pause, maybe even argue, but that's exactly the point. As the countdown unfolds, notice how each rank reflects not just success, but momentum, narrative, and timing. Because in 2025, shining isn't about who shouts the loudest, it's about who the world can't stop watching, even in silence. Are you ready to find out who truly stood at the center of the spotlight this year, and why the order matters more than you think? Number 7, RM, the silent architect of respect. RM in 2025 isn't loud, flashy, or chasing viral moments, and that's exactly why his position feels complex, almost paradoxical. He is last on this list not because he faded, but because his shine moved into a different dimension, one that isn't always measured by trending clips or screaming fan edits. This year, RM stood as the intellectual backbone of BTS, the member whose influence feels deeper than the surface metrics of fame. While other members dominated timelines with visuals, performances, and emotionally explosive moments, RM commanded respect through thought leadership, artistry, and global cultural relevance. His post-military presence felt calm, grounded, and intentional, like a man who knows his legacy doesn't need constant validation. International interviews, museum visits, book discussions, and subtle musical releases painted him as more than an idol, but also made his popularity feel quieter compared to the rest. In 2025, RM became the member most admired by critics, artists, and intellectual circles, yet paradoxically less viral among casual audiences who chase spectacle. His solo artistry continued to receive praise for depth and honesty, but it demanded patience from listeners, something not everyone brings in an era of instant gratification. RM's English fluency and global mindset still positioned him as BTS's unofficial ambassador, especially in Western media, yet his absence from frequent idol-style content made some fans feel his presence only when they truly listened. Emotionally, RM in 2025 feels like the older brother who stepped back so the others could run forward, confident that leadership doesn't require the spotlight at every moment. His fame this year wasn't about numbers exploding overnight, but about long-term credibility solidifying quietly. That's why placing him at number 7 feels bittersweet but honest. RM didn't lose his shine. He transformed it into something subtler, heavier, and more timeless. In a year obsessed with noise, RM chose meaning, and that choice reshaped how the world sees him, not as the loudest star, but as the foundation that still holds everything together. Number 6, Jin, the emotional constant everyone keeps missing. Jin in 2025 feels like a presence people don't realize they're leaning on until he's suddenly right there, anchoring the mood, softening the chaos, and reminding everyone what warmth feels like. Ranking him at number 6 isn't about lack of fame, because Jin remains globally recognized, endlessly loved, and instantly relatable, but about how his shine this year took a more emotional, understated route compared to the explosive momentum of others. Post-military, Jin didn't rush to dominate trends or flood the internet with spectacle. Instead, He returned with a calm confidence, a slightly deeper voice, sharper humor, and a maturity that quietly pulled people in. His visuals in 2025 hit differently, less boyish, more composed, more "this is a man who's lived," and that alone sparked renewed admiration across fandoms and even among casual viewers. Variety appearances, live streams, and candid moments showed Jin as someone who doesn't need to perform intensity to be captivating. He became the emotional breather of BTS, the member who makes people laugh without forcing it, who says comforting things at the exact moment fans need to hear them. But here's why he lands at number 6. Jin's popularity this year leaned heavily on emotional connection rather than cultural dominance. He didn't dominate headlines the way others did, nor did he redefine trends or break platforms with sheer visibility. Instead, he sustained something arguably harder to maintain: relevance through sincerity. His solo activities resonated deeply with longtime fans, but they didn't always spill over into viral, algorithm-driven fame. Jin in 2025 is the member people trust, the one whose presence feels safe and familiar, almost like coming home, and while that's powerful, it doesn't always translate into being the most talked about name of the year. Emotionally, Jin feels like the glue that holds memories together, especially for fans who followed BTS from the beginning. He represents continuity in a rapidly evolving era. And yet, in a year where attention often rewards intensity, mystery, or reinvention, Jin's steady warmth can be overlooked by the wider public chasing something louder. That doesn't diminish his shine, it defines it. Jin in 2025 shines not like a spotlight, but like a lantern, constant, reassuring, and quietly impossible to replace. Number 5. Suga, the quiet storm that never stops brewing. Suga in 2025 is proof that you don't need to chase the spotlight to control it. His position at number 5 reflects a year where his influence felt heavier than his visibility, like thunder you feel in your chest before you even hear the sound. Post-military Suga didn't return with explosive fanfare, yet everything he touched carried weight. Whether through music production, subtle public appearances, or moments where his words cut straight to the truth, Suga reminded the world that credibility isn't built overnight, it's earned over time. His reputation as BTS's most respected musician outside the idol sphere continued to grow, especially among producers, rappers, and artists who see him less as a celebrity and more as a craftsman. In 2025, Suga's solo artistry aged like something rare, not chasing trends, but setting a tone that others quietly followed. His sound remained raw, reflective, sometimes uncomfortable, and that honesty created a strong bond with listeners who value substance over spectacle. But here's why he doesn't climb higher on this list. Suga's presence this year was selective. He appeared when it mattered, spoke when he had something to say, and disappeared before overexposure could dilute his impact. While this made every moment feel meaningful, it also meant fewer viral clips and less dominance on fast-moving platforms. Emotionally, Suga in 2025 feels like the member who understands pain, pressure, and ambition on a deeper level, and isn't afraid to sit with those emotions instead of packaging them neatly. His interviews felt less like promotion and more like conversations with someone who's seen too much to pretend. Fans who connect with Suga don't just admire him, they trust him. However, that trust lives strongest in dedicated circles, not always in the broader mainstream that rewards spectacle. That balance places him firmly at number 5. Powerful, respected, influential, but intentionally distant from the noise. In a year full of bright flashes, Suga remained a steady shadow, and somehow, that shadow carried more truth than most of the light. Number 4. Jhope, the energy that refused to dim. Jhope in 2025 feels like motion itself, constant, unstoppable, and impossible to ignore once he steps into frame. Ranking him at number 4 captures a year where his shine came not from mystery or silence, but from pure presence. Post-military, Jhope returned with a sharpened edge, physically stronger, mentally clearer, and radiating a confidence that felt earned rather than performed. Every appearance, whether on stage, in dance content, or casual public moments, reminded people why he has always been BTS's performance backbone. His dancing in 2025 wasn't just technically impressive, It told stories, carrying emotion through precision and control, making even short clips feel like full narratives. This year, J-Hope dominated live performance conversations, with fans and non-fans alike admitting that once he moves, your eyes naturally follow. But what truly elevated his position was how he balanced intensity with warmth. J-Hope didn't lose his signature brightness, he refined it. His smile felt less like a mask and more like a conscious choice, a way of pushing positivity without denying reality. Musically, his solo work and collaborations continued to showcase versatility, blending hip-hop roots with experimental sounds, proving that his artistry isn't limited to dance alone. However, J-Hope doesn't crack the top 3 because his fame in 2025, while strong, stayed within the realm of performance-driven admiration. He electrified stages and inspired dancers worldwide, but he didn't dominate global headlines or emotional discourse the way the top ranks did. Emotionally, J-Hope in 2025 feels like the member who keeps momentum alive, the spark that prevents stagnation. He represents consistency, discipline, and joy that doesn't feel forced. In a year where reinvention and emotional intensity ruled the conversation, J-Hope stood out by staying true to his essence while sharpening his craft. Number 4 belongs to him because he didn't just survive 2025, he powered through it, reminding everyone that energy, when grounded in skill and sincerity, never goes out of style. NG text-to-speech. Number 3, Taehyung, the living aesthetic that became a mood. Taehyung in 2025 isn't just famous, he's atmospheric. Ranking him at number 3 reflects a year where his presence transcended music and slipped effortlessly into lifestyle, fashion, and emotion. Post-military, Taehyung returned with an aura that felt heavier, slower, and more deliberate, like someone who understands the power of silence. Every public appearance, no matter how brief, sparked conversation, not because he demanded attention, but because he changed the temperature of the room just by existing in it. His visuals in 2025 reached a new level of maturity, less idol-perfect and more cinematic, drawing in audiences who may not even follow BTS but recognize him as an icon. Fashion houses, photographers, and creatives gravitated toward him, turning Taehyung into a walking concept rather than just a celebrity. But his impact wasn't only visual. His musical direction this year leaned into emotion, vulnerability, and restraint, allowing his voice to feel intimate, almost confessional. Fans didn't just listen to Taehyung, they sat with him, absorbing moods instead of chasing hooks. That emotional pacing made him incredibly influential, especially among younger audiences, seeking depth and authenticity. However, Taehyung lands at number 3 because his fame in 2025, while massive, often felt niche in its intensity. He dominated certain spaces completely, fashion, aesthetics, emotional storytelling, but didn't always flood mainstream conversation the way the top 2 did. Emotionally, Taehyung feels like the member people project their own feelings onto. He became a mirror, reflecting longing, calm, loneliness, and romance without saying too much. In a world that moves fast, Taehyung slowed things down, and that contrast made him unforgettable. Number 3 suits him because his shine isn't explosive, it's immersive. He doesn't chase trends, he becomes the atmosphere they exist in, and in 2025, that atmosphere was impossible to escape. Number 2, Jimin, the emotional gravity no one escapes. Jimin in 2025 isn't just seen, he's felt. Placing him at number 2 reflects a year where his presence pulled people in on a deeply human level, the kind of fame that doesn't rely solely on visuals or hype, but on emotional resonance that lingers long after the screen goes dark. Post-military, Jimin returned with a softness sharpened by strength, a balance that made every performance, glance, and gesture feel intentional. His body language in 2025 told stories before he ever opened his mouth, and when he did sing or speak, it felt like a quiet confession rather than a broadcast. Vocally, Jimin reached new heights this year, not through power alone, but through control and vulnerability, making listeners feel like he was singing directly to them. This emotional accessibility became his greatest weapon. Across performances and public moments, Jimin consistently trended not because of spectacle, but because people sensed something real beneath the surface. But what truly elevated his position was how universal his appeal became in 2025. Jimin didn't just connect with ARMY. He pulled in casual viewers, non-fans, and even skeptics who found themselves unexpectedly moved. Clips of him went viral not for being shocking, but for being sincere, a rare currency in a world saturated with performance. Yet he stops just short of #1 because his influence, while intense, often remained emotionally concentrated rather than culturally dominating. Jimin's fame this year was about depth over breadth. He made people cry, reflect, and feel seen, but he didn't always drive the largest headlines or redefine global pop narratives the way the top rank did. Emotionally, Jimin in 2025 feels like the member who carries hearts carefully, aware of how easily they can break. His kindness, vulnerability, and quiet strength created a gravitational pull that's hard to resist. #2 belongs to Jimin because he didn't just shine, he connected, and in a year hungry for authenticity, that connection meant everything. #1 Jungkook, the center of the world without trying. Jungkook in 2025 isn't just the most famous member of BTS, he's the reference point. Everything seems to orbit around him, not because he demands attention, but because attention naturally follows wherever he goes. Ranking him at #1 feels inevitable this year, the result of momentum, timing, and a rare balance of skill, charisma, and relatability that very few artists ever achieve. Post-military, Jungkook returned sharper, stronger, and more self-aware, carrying the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly who he is and no longer needs to prove it. Every appearance, whether a short clip, a candid moment, or a full performance, instantly dominated timelines, not just within fandom spaces, but across global pop culture. Jungkook in 2025 became a shared language, understood even by people who don't actively follow BTS. Vocally, he stood at the peak of his generation, effortlessly switching between emotional softness and explosive power, making each performance feel both polished and deeply human. But what truly sealed his place at #1 was his universality. Jungkook didn't belong to one image, one mood, or one audience. He was simultaneously the golden performer, the relatable young man, the disciplined artist, and the emotional anchor fans leaned on. His visuals this year sparked conversation without needing exaggeration. His physical presence reflected growth and resilience, and his emotional openness made fans feel like they were growing alongside him. In 2025, Jungkook didn't just follow trends, he quietly set them, from performance standards to the way idols express vulnerability in public. Headlines followed him not because of controversy, but because his existence itself felt newsworthy. Emotionally, Jungkook feels like the member who carries expectation without being crushed by it, who turns pressure into fuel rather than burden. #1 belongs to him because he didn't just shine brighter than the others, he became the light people naturally looked toward. In a year defined by transition and rebirth, Jungkook stood at the center, not shouting, not forcing, just being, and somehow, that was more powerful than anything else.